Don't be ridiculous. There's not going to be a divorce. That's what my cheating wife told me. I just need one night to remind myself I'm still desirable to other men. She didn't flinch when she said it. Just looked me in the eye and calmly announced that she was going on a date, then staying the night with him. She had no idea those words would set off a chain of events she could never take back. I had always believed my marriage to Samantha was solid, unshakable. We met back in university, both of us hungry to carve out a future in finance. She was sharp, methodical, always 5 steps ahead. Our careers took off together. She climbed the corporate finance ladder while I worked my way through investment banking. We had everything: money, status, the kind of life most people only dream about. And I thought we had love too. But I was wrong. That night, we were sitting in our high-rise London penthouse, Samantha standing by the window with a glass of wine in hand. She spoke without even looking at me. Don't be ridiculous. There's not going to be a divorce. I blinked. What? She finally turned, completely unfazed, as if we were discussing something as ordinary as dinner plans. I just need one night to prove I can still turn heads. That's all. Felt like the ground shifted beneath me. Samantha, do you even hear yourself? She let out a slow breath, like I was the one exhausting her. Ethan, you don't get it. This isn't about you. Not about me. I gave a short, hollow laugh. You're standing there telling me you're going to sleep with someone else, and I'm supposed to be okay with that? She rolled her eyes, setting her glass down on the marble countertop. It's not cheating if I tell you about it. I'm being honest. Then she looked at me, her expression unreadable. I just need to know I still have that kind of power. I love you, Ethan, but I refuse to feel trapped. I stared at her, searching for any trace of the woman I married. Then, just like that, she walked to our bedroom, pulled out a suitcase and started packing. No secrecy, no shame. She didn't think she was doing anything wrong. She truly believed she was untouchable. Something inside me snapped. She thought I'd just sit here, waiting, letting it happen like some pathetic fool. She was wrong. As soon as I heard the door click shut behind her, I picked up my phone. Marcus, I said when my best friend answered. I need your help. Marcus and I had been tight since university. He was a forensic accountant, a damn good one. What's going on? He asked, immediately picking up on the tension in my voice. Samantha's cheating, I said flatly. Or about to. And I need to take her down. Marcus let out a low whistle. Damn, that's cold. He paused, then added, I'm in. What's the plan? Start with her finances, I said. Samantha's careful, but nobody's perfect. If she's got any skeletons, I want to know about them. Got it. Anything else? Yeah, I said, a slow smirk creeping onto my face. By the time she walks back through that door, I want her to regret this night for the rest of her life. By the time Samantha came home the next morning, still wearing last night's dress, I was already 2 steps ahead. She strolled in like nothing had happened, tossed her bag onto the couch, and stretched. See? She said, voice light. No big deal. I watched her carefully, keeping my face unreadable. Did you have fun? She met my gaze, sizing me up. Ethan, don't be childish. I didn't argue. I just smiled and turned away. That was the moment she should have realized something was wrong. But she didn't. While she was off proving her desirability to some random guy, I had spent the night proving something else. How easily I could dismantle her entire world. The first hit landed at her job. Marcus had uncovered something big. Hidden transactions, financial discrepancies. Samantha had been quietly siphoning company funds into private accounts. It wasn't a huge amount, not enough to set off alarms right away, but enough to be illegal. She must have thought she was untouchable. That changed when an anonymous tip landed on the firm's compliance team's desk. That night, I watched from the couch as she paced our living room, her phone pressed to her ear. What do you mean, flagged transactions? That's absurd. She was rattled, and I was just getting started. The next day, her credit card was declined at a high-end boutique. First, she shrugged it off. Probably just a bank glitch, she muttered, pulling out another card. By the end of the week, she wasn't brushing it off anymore. That night, she stood in the doorway of our bedroom, arms crossed, her confidence noticeably shaken. "Ethan, something's going on." I barely glanced up from my laptop. "Oh, my accounts, they're all frozen." And she hesitated. "There's an investigation at work. Someone reported me." I raised an eyebrow. "That sounds serious." Her eyes narrowed. "You don't seem surprised." I shrugged. "Maybe that's because I know exactly what kind of person you are." She inhaled sharply, her lips parting like she wanted to argue, but no words came out. "Don't," I said smoothly, cutting her off before she could even start. "You did this to yourself." She just stood there, stunned. "Good. Let the fear sink in." The final nail in the coffin came when I placed the divorce papers in front of her. Her hands trembled as she flipped through the pages. "You're serious?" "Dead serious." Her face twisted with disbelief, then anger. "You can't just leave me." I let out a dry chuckle. "Leave you? Samantha, you made a choice. And now I'm making mine." Her arrogance, that unwavering confidence she always carried, crumbled into something else. Desperation. "You love me," she whispered. I shook my head. "I loved the woman I thought you were." I held her gaze for a long moment before finishing. "But now, I just want to watch you fall." Then I turned my back on her, leaving her alone with the wreckage she had created. Samantha had spent years crafting the perfect image. Successful career woman, devoted wife, someone who always had control over her life. But I had taken all of that away in just a few days. The investigation at her firm escalated quickly. The board of directors, who once held her in such high regard, now only saw her as a liability. Compliance officers tore through her financial records, uncovering every inconsistency. Her accounts were frozen. Her credibility was in ruins. And now she had a divorce looming over her. And the weight of it all was starting to show. One morning, I found her sitting at the kitchen counter, staring blankly into her coffee cup. Her fingers tapped anxiously against the table, restless, uncertain. Samantha, the woman who had once been so sure of herself, was slipping away, and I enjoyed every second of it. Then came the moment I had been waiting for. "Ethan," she called, her voice softer than usual. "We need to talk." I leaned against the doorway, arms crossed. "About what?" She took a slow, shaky breath. "I made a mistake." I raised an eyebrow. "Oh, did you?" She swallowed hard. "I got caught up in it. It wasn't about you. It was just about needing to feel desirable." I finished for her. She flinched but nodded. "Yes, but it didn't mean anything." Her voice cracked. "I love you." I laughed. An actual deep laugh. "You love me," I repeated, shaking my head. "Samantha, you love me so much that you looked me in the eye and told me you were going to sleep with another man? That's the love you're talking about." Her eyes welled up with tears. I didn't think it would hurt you this much." And that right there was the problem. I tilted my head, studying her. "You never thought about me at all." She reached for my hand, but I stepped back. "We can fix this," she pleaded. I met her gaze, unwavering. "No, Samantha. You can live with the consequences." Her breaking point came fast. First, she lost her job. The firm had no choice. The financial discrepancies were too serious to overlook. She tried to deny it, tried to fight back. But in finance, once your name is tainted, there's no recovering. Then she realized the man she had thrown everything away for had vanished. He had been nothing more than a fleeting distraction, a stranger with no intention of dealing with the fallout. But the final, crushing blow? She had nothing left. Samantha had always believed she was untouchable, that no matter what, she could always talk, manipulate, or charm her way back to safety. Not this time. I made sure of it. The divorce papers were only the beginning. By the time she realized what was happening, I had already moved every asset into my name. Legally. Everything she once thought was ours? Gone. The apartment? Sold. The luxury car she adored? Repossessed. Her credit? Completely destroyed. She had spent years thinking she was powerful. But in the end, all her power had been borrowed. From me. And now she had nothing. The day she came home to find the locks changed, her suitcases waiting for her outside, and an eviction notice taped to the door, I watched from across the street. She dropped to her knees, staring at the reality of what she had become. The woman who had everything now had absolutely nothing. And me? I had never felt lighter. A few nights later, my phone rang. I saw her name on the screen and, for a moment, considered ignoring it. But curiosity won out. I answered, my voice cool and even. "Hello, Samantha." Silence. Then a shaky breath. "I have nothing, Ethan." I leaned back in my chair, a smirk forming. "Yeah, I know." Another silence. Then a whispered, "Please." I let the word hang in the air. "Please what?" Her voice broke. "Please help me." For a brief second, I almost felt sorry for her. Almost. "You destroyed me," she continued, her voice raw. "I lost everything. My job, my reputation, my money." She hesitated. "You," I sighed, drawing it out dramatically. "Samantha, you did this to yourself. I just made sure you faced the consequences." She sniffled. "I was your wife." I closed my eyes for a brief moment, shaking my head. "You were supposed to be my wife. But you threw that away. For one night, just to feel wanted." "Ethan," she whispered, her voice barely holding together. I could hear it, the desperation, the raw, broken plea beneath her words. But I was done. "You made your bed, Samantha," I said, my voice cold and steady. "Now sleep in it." And with that, I hung up. For a moment, I just stared at the phone, waiting, almost expecting her to call again. But she didn't. And that's when I knew she finally understood. I was gone. For good. I walked away from that life entirely. Left London behind, moved to Zurich, and started fresh. My career took off. My personal life thrived. And for the first time in years, I felt a lightness I hadn't known was possible. The weight of betrayal no longer sat on my shoulders. Instead, I carried something far more satisfying. The knowledge that Samantha had learned the hardest lesson of all. Arrogance will ruin you faster than betrayal ever will. And her? Last I heard, she was still struggling. Jobless, alone, trying to salvage what little remained of the life she once thought was untouchable. Do I regret any of it? Not for a second. People think revenge comes from anger, but that's not true. The best kind of revenge is making them understand exactly what they lost. And I had done just that. Betrayal only stings when you hold on to it. But the second you let go, the weight shifts completely onto the one who caused it. Now, let me know what you think in the comments. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe and like.